Hello, and welcome to The Fool and the Philosopher.
The Philosopher and The Fool, about multiple concepts, and they made me think, and they're all sort of related.
That's the podcast.
That's the podcast. No, so I talked about what enlightenment is, memento mori, and ego death.
Yeah.
And I basically disagreed with the people I was talking to on all three subjects.
Yeah.
But the ego death and enlightenment more tied together, but the memento mori, remember you'll die.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those sayings that can have multiple interpretations.
Well, I mean, remember you'll die is actually an interpretation of its own.
Yeah.
Because memento mori
is remember you're immortal.
Well,
is it?
Sort of. Latin doesn't actually work like English.
Yeah.
So memento mori actually means remember death.
Yes.
But then you have to interpret it based on context. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so remember death and
or remember mortal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
I was thinking about this, and the person is saying, like, basically memento mori to her meant like you have to live your life to the fullest, you have to live like each day, and you have to think, oh, there's so much wasted time, and so like cut out all that wasted time so you're never missing a moment, and it's like do only things that are important. And I was thinking about, that's not my interpretation at all, and she has like a big disagreement.
That's also not what the Romans thought it meant. Because, so, when the Romans would have a triumph, which was like, you have done something amazing, so you walk down the street, you get something called a triumph, that's where the word comes from. They would have a little, like, slave seated on your shoulder, basically, whispering in your ear, memento mori, memento mori. Yeah. And what they were actually saying is, you are not a god. Mm-hmm. Like, calm down, your head's getting too big, you're not a god. And so, her version, they'd be, like, seated on your shoulder going, YOLO!
Yeah.
YOLO!
Well,
which is very different.
But we talked about like the remember you're mortal or remember you will die.
Yeah.
Like that's modern interpretations. Remember you will die. So even going off that, it's I found the remember you will die is not a call to do all that you can, live a life worth remembering. It's simply the fact that you are mortal. You will die. That is.
Well, I think the Roman interpretation was a humility thing, right? It's like no matter what you do, you will die.
No, that is how I view it as well, remember, you will die. And there's multiple, like the whole, like, don't waste your day, like the seize the day. What is the seize the day?
Carpe diem.
Yeah, carpe diem of it. There is a bit of the humility to the memento mori, the remember you'll die. It's like, remember you will die. So, you are mortal. You're not God. You'll not be forever. So, you can actually use memento mori to eat a tub of ice cream. Because not everyone will remember he is the fat slob that ate a tub of ice cream in the grand scheme of the universe.
Or you can eat it because YOLO, whatever, I got to do this at least once. Or you could actually not eat the tub of ice cream because, hey, you're going to die. Like, you're not invincible. You can't just go around eating a tub of ice cream. Like,
it's to remember your mortality. I think what the sane modern interpretation for me is literally remember your mortality. And it doesn't mean, it doesn't have to be the hyper-stressed person has to do everything. Like, someone could do that. But it's like, no, just remember your mortality. That is a factor of your being.
I saw, and I don't understand it, but it was, someone asked the question, did Aragon kill himself? Like, did Aragon commit suicide?
Yeah.
And because, he chose the time of his death and everything. And someone said, no, he didn't, because I think it's Varda granted humanity the gift of mortality.
Yeah.
And so what Aragon did was he chose to accept the gift. So basically Aragon just chose the time and then he said, I accept your gift of mortality. And, and so death was actually a gift from the gods, and Morgoth's anti-gift, because Morgoth cursed humanity, was to make them fear the gifts that were given to them.
Yeah. No, and his whole thing when he was with Arwen is like, I could lay here the long years and stretch out my time and cling to life until I'd be a shell of a man you would no longer recognize. Because he's not fully mortal. He is part elf.
Yeah. Somewhere
in his lineage. And also, you can do magic and dark sorceries. You can embrace Morgoth and not take the gift of Arda. And by embracing the gift of Morgoth, or his curse, you can make yourself live longer.
But why do you think Tolkien, or Aragon maybe Tolkien didn't believe it, but why do you think they believed it was a gift? Because that's a tricky one.
So that's the other part of memento mori, actually, which it comes from a Christian perspective, which Tolkien had, being Catholic, which is, in Hades, where you hear the song by
Eurydice and
Eurydice.
Orpheus?
Yeah, Eurydice's version's better than Orpheus's because they're different songs they sing.
I kind of like both. Like
I do like both,
yeah.
but they're singing a different message.
Yeah.
Which is like, holy cow, those two singers and the songwriter, insanely talented that they can make someone sing the exact same lines and have different meanings in the song.
Yeah.
But so Eurydice's version is you're dead.
Yeah.
And there's no burdens anymore. There's no debts to be paid. At West can't rest his weary bones. The journey is done.
Yeah.
What happened in life does not matter.
It's kind of awful, isn't it?
Living is for the living, death is for the dead.
Like, it's kind of a breakup song.
Yeah.
Because, like, Orpheus gave up everything to face Hades himself for the woman he loved. And she's just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the interpretation.
But that is literally what being dead is.
Yeah.
But so, believe it in heaven or not.
Like, I think Orpheus is one of two mortals to face a god.
Yeah.
Like, the other one's Hercules.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, but so, heaven or not.
Yeah. I guess Diomedes.
Yeah, there's one way to look at it. You are dead, so it does not matter. Living is for the living, dead is for death. Remember, you are mortal. You are not dead. You are alive. But you will die, and then you will be dead. But then if you go more to Christian and heaven, so the kingdom of heaven is not on earth. That's, I've heard, apparently one of the big differences between Christians and Jews.
Yeah, Jews think it's a place.
Yeah.
On earth, yeah. And Christians think it's more of a metaphysical, maybe a state of mind or something, but yeah.
State of mind or a place after death.
Or it's something that's being granted to all humans by Christ already. Because Christ is the Redeemer, right?
Yes.
Like, he did redeem us.
Yeah, and so heaven is after death. It's like some say heaven's the reward.
Some say, oh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, baby,
heaven is a
place on earth.
Yes.
They say in heaven that song that love comes first. Baby, did you know heaven is a place on earth?
Yeah, so the Christian memento mori is like, remember you will die, and that's okay. I don't want to go so far because there's like those weird Christians that, well, no, you're like turning into a Viking.
Yeah.
Which is like, I want to die in battle so I can go to heaven. That's not how you go to heaven. It's more of you will die, and that's okay because there is a plan, and life, you do not end with the end of your life is like that there.
So in what sense? So there's the legacy sense, right? You continue on afterwards. Yep. Or there's the like life is the tutorial for heaven.
Yeah.
Because those are different ideas, right?
They're different ideas, but they're both as comforting to me.
Yeah.
Same with your raisin in the bread. That's equally like all those things are fine. Like you can look at each one of them, and each one is fine.
I had this moment.
I'm okay with each one.
Of like a newie when I was the first time I played Minecraft, where I had just been digging and digging and digging, and then I climbed up onto a cliff and looked out over the land I'd been devastating, and I couldn't even see the mark in the land I had made because of all the trees. And I had this moment of like, I don't matter. Nothing I do has ever affected anything. And I need to burn it all down so that I leave some mark on the world. And that's what that guy did that burned down the Temple of Artemis.
He shouldn't have remembered his name.
Yeah. Well, he had I bet he was playing Minecraft too. And he was like, my God, I need to do something.
Yeah.
And does that count? Does that make you...
I mean, if that's how you want to do it.
Is that... I mean, he remembered he would die. He's like, I'm ready for it, baby.
Yeah.
I'm burning this thing down.
But I find it's a weird interpretation of using memento mori as carpe diem.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people probably do see memento mori like that.
It doesn't, like, what it could also be is take courage. Like, not so much carpe diem, but it's like, look, if you go and ask that girl out, maybe you'll be humiliated for the rest of your life. Yeah. But hey, you're gonna die. Like, yeah, it's small fries. Like, yes, don't worry about it. Like, yeah, like you don't have to like. Doesn't mean you have to get out there and do everything, but there is like a look. It doesn't really matter. Just go for it. Like, yeah, long run, you're dead anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Or long run, at least you'll be dead. Yeah. Like whatever works. There was he's one of the most successful guys for curing anxious disorders. Yeah. Like anxiety attacks and stuff. And he said one of the best things he's done is people are driving their car, and they'll start having a panic attack. Yeah. And he said, so what you should do is just think like because what you're thinking right now is, oh no, I'm going to have a panic attack. I'm going to swerve into traffic. I'm going to kill 3 children.
Yeah.
And I'm going to... He's like, so what you do, the first is the dare method. I've talked about it before. But he said, first you have to diffuse it. So just say, hey, if I crash and kill 3 people, I'll be dead too. So not my problem.
Yeah.
So you just have to make it ridiculous in your head.
Yeah.
And then the next step is the, like, deal.
Yeah.
But he's like, or at least I don't have to go into work today.
So the other 2 things.
Yeah. So you said you were talking about
enlightenment and ego death.
Yeah.
And I was talking with different people, kind of spiritual people, and they were both saying like, "Oh, ego death is very good for you. You should try to experience ego death." I heartily disagreed with them. And then later on, we talked about ego death. And they're saying, it's like,
although I think like death being temporary, like ego rebirth almost would be a better one. Yeah.
But I was saying that, he was saying, I think you need to have ego death to be enlightened, like, because enlightenment is the shattering of the ego. And I said, no, it isn't. It's not at all. And then we had like a little back and forth, and he was very certain that there's like one path to enlightenment. And I said, okay, I think there's actually multiple paths to enlightenment then, because maybe some people have gone there through ego death. But I think there's more than one path. And then I expressed the idea of, I told the story of, if you meet Buddha on the road, kill him. And I don't know, he might have gotten that short story, but I think I actually truly understood that short story at that point in the conversation.
I need to go back a step. What's enlightenment? Because...
Well, we were trying to argue what is enlightenment, because he's saying enlightenment is ego death.
Right.
But
then he kind of wins by definition, I guess.
Well, so, and this is... We talked about how Zen knowledge is nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's actually nonsensical. It's like knowledge that doesn't make sense. It's...
Yeah, truths that aren't true if spoken. Yeah.
Yeah. And what killing Buddha, if you meet Buddha on the road, what killing him means is you think you've gotten enlightened, but you haven't.
Because if enlightened...
And then what I actually think it is enlightenment is one of those, what's the concept of if you speak it, it's no longer true?
Well, the story, the guy said moo, which means don't say that. Like, no, like undo it, unsay what you've said.
Yeah, that's what enlightenment is, almost.
Yeah.
And so that's why you have to kill Buddha in the road if you meet him, is you will know it when you know it, but until then, it's actually not explainable, and you can only try to help people get there. But, on top of that, I want to go back to that monk who said people shouldn't try meditation. Because I don't think that everyone should be enlightened, because while you're enlightened, you're useless.
But,
like, it's enlightenment is a useless thing.
Well, that's what I'm trying to, like... If enlightenment is ego death, then that's a pretty grand term for ego death. So I don't think it's ego death.
No.
But if enlightenment is this thing that monks do, it's like, what are they... Like, did you feel... How can I put this? Did you feel more of the divine when you said, kill Buddha in the road if you meet him, and I understand that everything is ephemeral and, like, there is no self and blah, blah, right? Okay, whatever that, right? Bad. Versus the... hero's journey of going into chaos, forging order, and building up the place your home that you left from anew. Like, I think there's one that's creative and there's one that's nothing. Like it's not negative, but it's nothing. Like it's...
Well, so that's where I think it's funny because I'm going to do the thing of letting Buddha live. That's where I think enlightenment people get it wrong, where they try to achieve nothingness. Because, again, I'm letting Buddha live, but I think I have achieved enlightenment before, or being in the state so of what I understand to be enlightenment is.
Okay.
And the best I can describe it as is it's a state of mind where you understand everything, and everything, because you understand it, becomes immensely beautiful. And like how Lex Luthor gained Superman's powers, realized he couldn't be evil. You basically get Superman's powers for a moment. But the experience itself is so impossible for a regular human that wants to operate in the world to exist with at the same time, that you literally have to change your mindset to go back to being able to live. And that's why the before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, after enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. There's no well-enlightened chop wood and carry water. Because I honestly don't think you can be enlightened, so you're enlightened at one point, and you can get insight from it maybe, but you actually can't exist in it because a human cannot exist in enlightenment. And it's like a dream you remember with a smile.
So the worth of it would, because my follow-up question was going to be, what worth is it then? But it sounds like there is a worth to it. So I guess the question is, rather than...
Well, and so that's why this is like, beware the man who seeks enlightenment, because he's like, the path he's going on is a path of destruction.
Well, it sounds like to me, enlightenment is more an expression of the facet of a facet of God, or like a unity with God. And so on the infinite stair, enlightenment is sort of a taste of the sandwich at the top of the infinite stair.
Yeah.
However, the important thing is actually walking the stair. It's not actually tasting the sandwich at all. Like,
yes.
Like, I think that's kind of an aspect we haven't really touched on, because with the infinite stair idea, because like, you shouldn't eat the sandwich. Like,
no,
you don't want to, because the sandwich doesn't matter. It's the stair. If the sandwich wasn't there, you should still be walking the stair.
Yeah.
Which actually kind of ties into, I don't know if I've asked you this before. I think I have. But it's sort of like, if another, like, Malazan style, like, crippled god comes to Earth, he kills God, like our God.
Yeah.
And the crippled god leaves. So God's dead, and there's no God. And so we have the source, the font of meaning and goodness, and everything is dead. It's like, well, we should surely still walk the path towards where he was, right?
Yes, we should.
We
should walk the path to where he was, so we can take him up and bear him on our shoulders, and then bring him to a place to be buried.
Well, I don't know. I think, like, I don't think we have to carry him, because I think there's not a difference between walking towards God and walking towards the space where God was. Like, I think they're basically the same action.
No. Actually, rather, a God-shaped hole is in the shape of God, and therefore it is God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, so your hypothetical, though, is God isn't actually killable, because God is the God-shaped hole.
Yeah, so, but also, if there was no God, there would be a God. Like, that's sort of the argument. Like,
yeah.
Like, if there was no God, there would be a God, because humans are going to walk towards God, and therefore there is a God. Like, that's sort of the thought process, but it's a bit weird.
And so that's why I don't agree that you have to have ego death for enlightenment, because enlightenment, I like that, is it's tasting the sandwich.
Yeah.
And, like, you shouldn't do that. However, there are people, like doing the hero's journey, you shouldn't leave the village. However, some people have to. Because not everyone does, but some people do. And it's not everyone's journey.
New slur. Sandwich lickers. Right? All they're doing is licking the sandwich. They're not walking the path. They're just licking the sandwich. And they're just like, I need another hit of that sandwich. It's like, no, you should be walking the path.
So that's the thing, is there are people, which Buddhist teaching and Zen teaching warn of sandwich lickers.
Yeah.
Because there are people who want to constantly lick the sandwich because they got a taste of it at one point. Whereas someone like Buddha, like the original Buddha, whatever his name,
Siddhartha Gautama or something.
Siddhartha went on his journey.
Yeah. And
he took a bite out of the sandwich. And then he put it down.
You ever go on, like, tech support and, like, you're like, that could have been Buddha. Like, if you think about it, like, because, I mean, he was Indian, right? So it's like...
Yeah, but I mean, like, the Laughing Buddha as well.
Yeah.
Like, they achieved enlightenment. Maybe they only did it once. And maybe that's what's special about them. Is they... Like, maybe there's a knowledge, or, like, maybe Zen, because Zen's different than Buddhism, maybe Zen is so esoteric because it's trying to teach you to take a bite and then leave it behind.
So I think...
it's two layers. The first layer of Zen is telling you, seriously, dude, just walk the stair. Like, all these lessons will help you walk the stair. Don't eat the sandwich, because if you take some of these lessons a little too far, you actually will get a bite of the sandwich. And that will destroy you. But if you do that, our lessons are so weird and so deep that we have a second layer in these lessons that teach you what to do after you've taken a bite of the sandwich, and how to live a life after you've bitten the sandwich, because that's no easy thing, and never do that again.
I find the conceptualization of that weird. Like, just like enlightenment in general. It feels like you're trying to become a god, and like because Buddhism in general, right, is a very arrogant religion, as far as I understand it. I could be wrong here, and I think it's a wrong religion too. But and maybe a Buddhist can correct me. But as I understand it, Buddha basically said there is suffering.
Yeah.
Here's the eightfold path out of suffering, and I think that is like that's the opposite of Christianity, right?
Yeah.
Jesus went to the cross.
Yes.
Buddhist Jesus would have run from the cross.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with Buddhism.
And now I'm not saying because Jesus did one thing and the Buddha did the other, Jesus is right because Jesus is Jesus. What I'm saying is, as a non-believer, Jesus' path seems like the correct one.
Yeah.
And Buddhist seems like the wrong one. Because you can't avoid suffering.
Yeah.
Like, you're running away. If you're endlessly running, you know what you are? You're a sandwich licker.
Yeah, well,
but you're also, like, that's the definition of, like, cluster B. It's a personality disorder in a way, right? Like, it's like, and there's a Saturday morning breakfast cereal, which I think, it's kind of a deconstruction of Buddhism. Like, he says, Buddhism sounds amazing, but then I have this horrible thought, and here it is. And so he put it in comic form.
Yeah.
And he said, a man was walking along when a stone got lodged in his head. And now he had a stone in his head, and so he grew angry. And so he told everyone about the stone in his head, and so everyone else got stones lodged in their head. And then one day the stone fell free. And so then he said, I know the path to freedom. Yeah. But all he did actually was make everyone else have a stone in their head.
Yeah.
And he just had like...
Well...
Because Siddhartha was like a spoiled prince who had no idea about what the real world was like, right? So
I think...
And then he tried to retreat back to his...
So the Chinese actually don't have Zen. They have the Tao.
No, I think the Tao is like great. Like the Tao is the path.
Yeah, but so the Tao comes from Buddhism.
Yeah. Does it?
Yes.
It's not Confucius?
Confucianism influenced it heavily.
Okay.
But so basically what happened is you have this weird Indian philosophy, which is Buddhism, and the actual religion of Buddhism is bizarre.
Yeah.
And it travels to China, and the Chinese have their interpretation of it, and that's how they do it. And they have the Tao and they have the Dharma, and their way of doing it. And then you also have Buddhism travel to Japan, and you have the Japanese interpretation of it, which turns into Zen, and that's influenced by their Shintoism, because Shintoism is very old, and like even their language, because Japanese is a really simple language in some ways, and so they're trying to express it. And then we have interpretation in English, but like Zen, literally, if you look at Zen and you ignore all the stuff about trying to become enlightened with like the Zen teachings, like you just toss that all aside, or you go, okay, this is a funny part of it, it's not for me. You actually look at Zen, and you look at the Zen lessons and the Zen sayings and the Zen teachings. They're basically just like a, kind of like the Bible of a guide for your life. Like, this is just a way to live. And it's a way to live a modest life that will help you deal with the issues and problems and have an outlook on them that'll make it so you're not miserable.
I don't think it works. Because I was, like, more or less, I think... I tried for a long time to fix my problems with Zen philosophy, right? So the one that sticks... Here's the one that sticks with me that I think is a great example of Zen being wrong and Christianity being right. Okay. You have depression, you're upset, whatever it might be, right? Something's going wrong in your life. You just broke up with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's awful. You feel this horrible feeling in your chest, right? So you go to the Zen master and you say, what do I do? And he says, so there was 2 Buddhist monks. They were on one side of a river about to cross, and a woman needed help to get across the river. And so the older Zen monk says, I'll carry you across. And so but it was forbidden in the Buddhist teachings to touch a woman. Yeah. But he picks her up and he walks her across the river. And she goes on her way. And the younger monk says to the older monk, but master, isn't it forbidden for us to carry a woman in Zen teachings? And the old master says, I'm not carrying her, you are. Because like I put her down at the end of the river. And so you go to... So the Zen monk tells you this story. Yeah. And so what he's saying to you is, you loser, you can't even stop thinking about your problem that your girlfriend broke up with you. Like it's, that doesn't help you at all, right? It's like, just stop thinking about it, right? You go to the Christian, and he says, Jesus was nailed to the cross and ascended to heaven. And you're like, oh, I have to feel the pain of this loss because it is a loss. And that's like the psychologically proven effective method as well. And that is actually the method that helped me, was like, feel the pain. Stop running from the pain. Feel the pain. You can't pretend it's not there.
And I wonder, actually, with that thought in mind, again, going back to the meditation, that would be very unfortunate. So monks in Christianity, like the monk orders, what have we got? We've got like the Templars, the
Francis
friars.
Yeah.
All those guys, they lived weird lives.
Yeah.
Which had a lot of extra rules and requirements on them.
Thinking of that Merino monk who died without ever seeing a woman.
Yeah.
It's like the happiest man on earth has just died.
Yeah. But like the monks and nuns to extent as well.
Yeah.
Live very different lives than us. And I wonder if Zen is literally a way of living meant for monks and not normal people.
Well, I think what it is, I saw a very strange YouTuber, but she did a video on this.
Because like what you're saying with sort of that lesson of the why you're still carrying her.
Yeah.
Is I was thinking about that there, of the why you're still carrying, and it was interesting because like you're saying you have to embrace the grief and pain. Whereas when you tell me that story, it's like that story isn't the solution to your problem. What that story is actually feels very related to the Christian story of Jesus basically saying...
Drowning St. Michael.
Not drowning St. Michael.
Remember when he crosses the river on his back and he's like...
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was St. Michael, but yeah.
But no, it's this Jesus' whole thing of healing people during the Sabbath. And they're saying, yo, why are you like doing work during the Sabbath? So it's because it needs to be done, basically. And like you have to understand the Sabbath to what the whole reason why we're told to rest. You actually have to understand it to get any benefit from it. And so because I'm Jesus, I can do stuff on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing with the monk carrying her across, because there's another part of the story that's not forbidden, but it's like, that one was so awful to you while you're carrying her. She was swearing and saying a bunch of nasty things. And it's like, why did you carry her across? But the monk is basically saying, like, look, I carried her across because that's just what needed to be done.
Yeah, but that's I think that gives you this mindset of like you as the person trying to use that to fix your life. It's just I need to be like a monk.
Well, no, I wonder.
And you can't be like a monk.
I wonder, quite literally, if people are misusing Zen as a medicine. Because they're trying to use, as you said, they're trying to use Zen to fix their life. And it's not something to fix your life. It's a way to live. And it's living like a monk, as you just said. Zen is living...
Right, but you can't structure your life around that either. Like you can't do that.
No, you can't, because you have to live at a monastery to do that.
But also, like, so this woman I was talking about, unfortunately I don't remember her channel name, but she was talking about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
And she said it's a pyramid, right? Like, you've got, like, the top need here. And so people always go for the top of the pyramid. They're like, I want enlightenment, or I want self-actualization. She said, it's a pyramid. You have to build the base of the pyramid first. It doesn't work if you start with the top.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that is completely skipped over.
I wonder if Alan Watt and the translations and all that stuff...
Yeah, it's like that should have stayed on the mountain.
It should have stayed on the mountain. And like the actual wisdom, what happens is a wise Zen monk or a wise Chinese, whatever version that's called, Confucian monk, or even a wise Buddhist monk from India, they're on top of the mountain and you go to them for wisdom and they can give you wisdom that'll help you in your life. And they gained this wisdom through not living like a human. They sat on a mountain, they sat up the stairs and munched the sandwich.
Yeah, but that makes it worse, not better. Like, I think that makes their advice worse, because you're a human. And I think you have to think of it as worse, because if you think of it as a special alien intelligence, then you still try to achieve it. It's like heroin. Like, you're like, oh, I need that special alien wisdom. It's like, no, it's worse wisdom.
Yeah, maybe.
It's poison. The other question is, why does Zen have this weakness when, like, Taoism and Christianity don't? Like, you can go to the Pope and he's not going to give you a mind poison. You can go to like a Taoist, like, follow the way of the Tao, and it's not going to poison you. It's just
maybe Zen was made by Loki.
Like, you know that when the Buddhist monks were they brought kung fu to the world.
Yeah.
Instead of that being like and meditation, right? So meditation and kung fu were introduced by Buddhist monk when the Buddhist faith was being destroyed.
Yeah.
The Chinese Buddhist faith. And maybe that wasn't a guy desperate to save his culture. Maybe that was a guy who tried to destroy humanity and revenge. Like,
I feel like I want to look into Zen teaching more, because I wonder if all the Zen teaching we have in the West, which has been translated to English, is the finger.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there actually is a moon in it. And I want to...
right there. Zen teaching obviously has some useful metaphors, right? Like, it does have some useful
and
metaphors.
The yin yang comes from the East.
Yeah, that's China. But
yeah. Yeah, but no.
Sort of. I was looking through like old book. There's a website called Old Book Illustrations.
Yeah.
The Celts had a yin yang.
Yeah.
So I don't know how wide the symbol is, but the Celts had one. So
yeah, but Avatar: The Last Airbender. He's with Guru Patri, and the guy wants to clear all his chakras.
What is going on?
You remember the Guru in Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yeah.
And he wants to clear all of Aang's chakras.
Yeah.
And he says, this last one, you have to let go of all mortal attachments.
Yeah. And it doesn't work.
To become Avatar. And Aang tries to do it, and then he thinks about Katara, and his attachments are more important than the Avatar state.
Yeah.
And then he actually finds a different way to achieve the Avatar state.
Yeah.
And...
He's getting slammed into a wall at like 500 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, well, you could say there's some other things, like his path, his thoughts, like all the things going up and building in him.
Yeah.
And also Zuko's story is very much close to him, of learning firebending with Zuko. And firebending isn't about anger, firebending is about life and breath and how to direct it. And so Guru Pratit was right, but he was also wrong. He was right of his method would give Aang the Avatar state.
Yeah.
But he was wrong, it's not the only way.
It doesn't let Aang live.
And he is wrong, it doesn't let Aang be Aang. And it doesn't let Aang be the Avatar. Because it would give him the Avatar state, and then you would just have an Avatar. You wouldn't have Avatar Aang. And when you think about when Aang was in the Avatar state, right before he's about to execute Ozai, and it's all the voices of the Avatars in the past shouting at him, it's like, you have violated the balance and you are about to receive your final punishment. And it's quite literally Avatar. He's the Avatar of all the past lives of the Master of Balance. And that thing is terrifying. And then Aang stops it and he doesn't execute Ozai because that's Aang. He is not the Avatar. He is Avatar Aang.
Yeah.
And the Guru was just going to make him Avatar.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was another path. But
yeah,
I think I also have to be careful here. I just had a sort of a bit of self-reflection. You see, you ever see those like skeptic YouTube channels where they're like ex-Jehovah's Witness and they don't think Christianity has like the slightest thing to offer, and they're like, well, I know Christianity inside and out, so therefore I can like, because I know, like, I don't know Buddhism, like Zen Buddhism that well, but I know it better than probably like 99% of the like North American population. But I shouldn't just dismiss it. Like I'm like you said, the finger pointing at the moon. There's useful lessons in there. And the most important one for me is the one hand clapping. I think that's brilliant. Like, I think that's really brilliant.
So the one thing which makes me feel like Zen Buddhism has an importance to me is Alan Watts' laugh. And that's a weird thing, but when I think about, he's talking about something, and I can't remember the exact words he's saying. I don't remember the exact message or the story, but he has a little chuckle about it. And then there's one story which I remember from Alan Watts, and it's the one that sticks with me both. And to me, it's the most important one of this whole thing, of all his lessons. Is he's saying, had this wonderful master when I was like in China. I'm basically making up the story by the same message. Wonderful master when I was in China, had all this wisdom, and he came to us, and we're sitting there in a circle, and he says, "Vices are a poison to the soul. They will destroy you. You should not drink wine. You should not smoke cigarettes. You should sit on the mountainside and meditate and be one with the universe." And then we come down from the mountainside, and the old master's there sitting on a rock, has a cigarette in his hand, and he's drinking some wine. And I'm like, "What, Master, what are you doing?" And he turns to me and he says, "You know, rice without salt and spice are very bland, and I hate eating plain rice."
It's very, what's that writer that, Bukwowski or whatever, the one guy's like, I don't know. You know what it feels kind of like? It's like you're climbing, there's like this mountain, right? It happened to me in Breath of the Wild, actually, in Tears of the Kingdom, sorry. I was trying to get on top of this, like, hill, and I was getting really frustrated with the tutorial island at the start of the game, the first time I played. And I, like, glued together, like, 8 trees, and I was trying to climb up these narrowly balanced trees to get to the top of this cliff. And I was like, jeez, that was, like, it wasn't that creative, and it was really annoying, and I was just frustrated by the time I finally succeeded. Yeah. The second time I played the tutorial place, I discovered you can walk around the cliff and get to the top of it. There's, like, a pathway up there. And I feel like Christianity's the path. And there's, like, all these people desperately not doing Christianity, and they're just doing, like, the Zen stuff, trying to... Because it's like, I want to feel that same love for life. It's like God's creation. How can you not love it? Like, it's the same path, but it's so much stronger. Like, it's like, I don't know. You see what I mean, sort of? Like,
I see what you mean, but I also, there's a irony in here.
Yeah.
Which is maybe, for you, Zen, Buddhism, is trying to climb up that thing, and you just don't get it.
Yeah.
And maybe some people come to that thing, and walking around the side is Zen for them.
Yeah. But
me, as a Christian man, I will happily take the religious win.
But I think, like what I was saying earlier in probably previous episode, or 2 episodes ago even at this point, I don't know what we'll break this down into. Probably 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to talk about with cilantro was, I think there are people who are just like different. Like, I think there's actually just different brands of human, and we can never see eye to eye. Like, I think there is just, I think we will always be at odds with each other because there's just different people.
Who line later? Anyways, one of the prompts was the other Spice Girls, and Michael Collins said, "Hi, I'm cilantro."
Yeah, and everyone's gonna hate. Well, some people will love her and some people will hate her, but I do think there's just different people, right? Like, there's just different people. I should probably get going.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll have to maybe look a bit more into Zen stuff. But what I'm worried about right now with Zen, actually, it's weird. I think it makes my life worse every time I think about it.
Well, okay. Here's the thing I will say about that. I think that's true for a lot of people, actually. Like, the people who read all those self-help books.
Yeah.
And are like constantly pursuing that.
Like, whenever I read about mythology,
I don't have all the thoughts together for it. But quite literally what it is it's probably poorly translated, or doesn't get it, or it doesn't work in our bloody language. But I actually think Zen is a thought experiment. And a part of the thought experiment is, look, this is a thought experiment, don't take it too seriously. And a bunch of people took the thought experiment seriously. And Zen said, whoa, okay, here are lessons literally saying, like, we have all these sayings in Zen saying, don't take this seriously. Please don't take this seriously. Because it's an incredibly powerful, dangerous meme. And it's a meme that will help a few people, but most people, it will hurt them. And so built into the meme is saying, don't pursue the meme.
Well,
I think people still pursue it. And I think that's what Zen is. And I think that Zen is, as you said, is incredibly dangerous and a poison. I actually, like, with this thought I just had, I think Zen and the pursuit of enlightenment, all that stuff, like Jonathan Livingston, all those things, I think that's actually is a poison.
Like, it does have some value, but it's...
No, it does. That's what I'm saying. Like, a thought experiment has a value. And it's one of those memes. It's one of those ideas that is so powerful, it has people. Instead of people having it, it has people. And the wisdom in it lets you... Like, if you can actually find the wisdom in it, it lets you realize how dangerous it is and to put it down.
I also think it was a very early proof, or a very early formulation of Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
Yeah.
Which is basically, there are truths which are unspeakable. Like, I think they kind of nailed that long before Gödel.
I think that like, it might have 4 precepts, and it lets you think about them and learn them. Oh.
But it's weird, because whenever I read about mythology, I feel like I'm more filled out. I feel like my connection to the world is stronger. Whenever I think about Zen, I tend to feel worse and hollower. Like, but not always. Like, the koans, I think, are good. I think the koans force you to think.
Maybe it's, that book you're reading where the one guy has too much yin and not enough yang.
Yeah.
It might be that.
Yeah, it might be a very yin philosophy
and
or whatever.
You might have too much yin in you, and so whenever your zens inflict on you, it might actually be causing you harm.
I need yang. I need the earthly stuff.
Yeah.
I need the... Actually, yin is the earthly stuff. Yeah, I need some earthly yin.
Yeah,
I need some feminine energy.
You need the earthly stuff.
I need to paint my nails.
You need mythology.
Yeah, the earthly energy. Yeah, and it's more the airy spiritual stuff.
Yeah, and you have enough of that.
Yeah, that could be. It could be as simple as that. Yeah, because it definitely has. Yeah, and you could probably, if you read too much mythology, you'd probably get lost in the stories rather than the...
the saying, lost in the sauce.
Yeah, but you get lost in rather than the truth that the stories are speaking, right?
Yeah.
So my question is, if I need to go into chaos to bring Zen to I have to slay the dragon of Zen and take from it the knowledge from it.
Yeah.
is Zen actually? I think maybe the problem is Zen is actually my city, and I'm already there, and I don't want to make it stronger. I need to leave. I need to go into chaos, and I need to go into the chaos of Christianity and mythology, and because I kind of did it backwards maybe for that. Well, backwards quotation marks. They're both. And Taoism wins again. China number 1
was the proud 4,000-year history.
Yeah.
This technique has 4,000 years of proud history behind it. But then again, we tie back to the beginning. 4,000 years of proud history in medicine and potentially magic seem to have helped me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's wrong with China, but I also think they're the ones that figured it out. I actually think they kind of got life figured out. There's a reason all the wisdom comes from the East.
Yeah.
But also, they have never had a good government.
No, it's China has figured it out. Unfortunately, the Chinese figured it out. We're having to deal with the consequences.
Well, no, because China, on average, of course, we don't understand averages, but on average, Chinese are the smartest people on earth.
Yeah.
They're also their art is amazing. Their philosophy and religion is incredible. Their landscape itself is amazing. They're forget the people that grew up in the desert with the goats being God's chosen people. It's maybe that's going a bit far, but China actually seems to have figured out on so many levels.
I just want on the nature thing, the people of the goats.
Yeah.
If you actually look at Israel and those areas where it's not deserty, which is what would have been in their time, it would have been green and lush.
Yeah.
That region's gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was reading that book, the Dark Lantern, and it's just you just go for a 3-day journey with no food or water because it's provided for you.
No, it's literally you go for a walk with all your buddies and you go, you know what? I think I'm going to dig a hole and make a well, and then I'm going to dedicate this well to God.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Don't you have to go someplace special for the well? It's no, I'm up a mountain, I'll dig a well. Yeah. I'm down in a valley, I'll dig a well. Yeah. I'm here, I'll dig a well.
Aren't you going to get hungry? No, I'll just grab some dates off the tree. There's food everywhere. What are you talking about?
I'll eat locusts.
Yeah, there's a lamb right there. I'll just have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only risk is really lions.
Yeah.
And bandits, I guess. But
yeah.
Yeah. So, I'll try to... Maybe I'll look a bit more into... Because, the one-hand clapping, I think, gave me a great view on rationalism versus empiricism.
Yeah.
I think the cone is great. I think, the moon analogy is good. Mm-hmm. I think that the not knowing, the moo unsay it is good.
Yeah.
It's almost like the weeboos that are the problem.
The truth that you can't... Yeah, moo, you cannot say it.
Yeah. Moo means no, so... Yeah. But the master said, what is the nature of Zen?
It's actually funny. When I was having the argument with the person about the whole thing...
Yeah.
How I concluded, I said, moo.
Yeah.
It's I do not know. Moo.
Yeah.
It's we cannot continue this. This no longer works between the two of us. We are getting nowhere. Moo.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a trick. It's tricky. It's tricky. But at least we have the slur sandwich liquors.
Yeah, sandwich liquors.
All right, I gotta
Philly sandwich liquor.